What's up, you guys? So UH men's basketball tipped off with the first of their two preview games, as I like to call them. They were exhibition match. It was an exhibition matchup, and it was against the Pomona-Pitzer Sagehens, and they're a Division III school. And I also have another thing on my banner that I'm going to show in a little bit. But as you can see by the score here, it was a big one. 101-51, UH wins. Okay? 101-51, UH wins. Okay. Now, I do have another thing that I'm going to address first. But before I get to that, guys, remember, subscribe if you think that I'm worth listening to, or if you just want to see some more of my games. Either one is fine with me. But with that being said, let's get into this.
All right.
UH wins big over Pomona-Pitzer, and I could be back in the stands again. I'm going to address this first. Now, I did apply for a media pass again. Of course, the operative word being trying. So I am hoping to hear back soon. But if I don't, or if I get turned away again, that's okay. But I'm already kind of highly suspecting that I will be back in the stands again this season. But, you know, like I said earlier, that's fine. I mean, I'm still going to get my shots regardless. And I don't think it really makes a big difference whether I'm at the media desk or sitting in the stands next to my dad. I got my season tickets already, courtesy of my dad. And I'm going to be at most of, if not all of these games. But we'll see how this season goes. And with a whole new look, UH is picked to finish third in conference play, which tells me a lot that they will contend with the perennial front runners and maybe even get a win over some of them.
All right.
So obviously, we're definitely hoping for a much more enjoyable season, because after UH won 3 of the first 5 conference games last season, unfortunately, it went downhill after that with a 23-point loss to CSUN only being the tip of the iceberg. And as a result, last season, UH men's basketball team did not qualify for the Big West tournament. But like I said in a prior video, even though we didn't make the Big West tournament, I still think that Long Beach State is going to have it worse than we will, because they fired their head coach, Dan Munson, but allowed him to finish out the rest of the season. And as a result, Long Beach won the Big West tournament. So there's your operative there. So last season, Long Beach State won the Big West tournament, and they didn't qualify this season, along with UH, of course. And Cal State Fullerton also did not qualify. They only won 1 conference game, and that was against Long Beach State. Long Beach won only 3 games in conference play and then lost the rest of their season. Obviously, the tail end of last season was disappointing, and unfortunately, that wasn't the worst of it, as guys like Akira Jacobs, Tom Beatty, and Cody Williams all entered the transfer portal. But this season, with newcomers like Tanner Cuff, Isaac Johnson, Isaac Finlinson, and Hunter Erickson, just to name a few, from what I saw in that game, that looked like a team that has the potential to win the Big West Series. Are they going to get to the tourney? I don't know. I sure hope so. But it definitely proves to me, even though Pomona-Pitzer is a Division III school, and this wasn't necessarily a good example of how they'll do against higher power talent like conference opponents, and even in our non-conference schedule, Oregon is where we open up. So we'll see how this team will do. I mean, is it a guarantee that they're going to win at Oregon? No, but just as long as they compete and show me that they can have a winner mindset and finally have some backbone, that may be what the rest of the crowd really needs to see and come away with a lot more wins. And with a pick to finish third in conference play, that's pretty encouraging. But obviously, conference play is wide open. Any team can get hot any day or night. Hopefully, UH will get hot every night and maybe accumulate a win streak like how the Wahine basketball team won 14 in a row en route to winning the regular season. Are the men's basketball team going to get a win streak like that? I sure hope so, because it's been a long time since I saw the guys pull off a win streak like that. Let me tell you. I'm not talking about 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years only. I'm talking at least a decade. Maybe even 2 decades, okay? So, now to the game action. Pomona-Pitzer, granted this was a Division III school, they put up a good fight, and kudos to them, but obviously we had the athleticism and led from start to finish, even breaking 100 points, which is wonderful. And I can remember former Beau Javon McClanahan talking about that when they won against Cal Poly 2 seasons ago when I was at the media desk, and again, I say 2 seasons ago, and I remember him saying, we scored 83 points, which is great because we've been scoring in the low 50s and 60s, and that's not going to win you games. So what that tells me is that to score 100 points against a Division III school, it isn't necessarily the high-powered talent that you're looking for, but to score 100 points, I don't care who your opponent is a significant portion and something that no one can take away from you. Just like in a race where you win by as much as 20 seconds, like when Ricky Carmichael used to win motocross races by 20, 30 seconds, or even a minute, no one can take that away from him. And to do that against some talent that may not be up to the same level as he is, that's still saying something. And that does a lot for your mental ability to know that deep down that you can pull off things like this. And if UH can score 100 points against any conference opponent and win, that's making a statement. But just to make it to 100 points in general is a big statement in itself. So that's why I'm giving that game an A+. Granted, it was a game that they should have won and did. But guys that I thought really showed me something, Isaac Johnson and Dre Bullock, 2 newcomers who led the Bows with 18 apiece, and Isaac Johnson's getting 4 rebounds. Dre Bullock had only 1, but he was 2 for 3 from three-point range. And to know that, so for a player to do that, obviously it's not like Ryan Rapp last season who went 5 for 5 against Texas A&M Corpus Christi, or Juan Munoz a couple seasons ago against Central Arkansas where he went 5 for 5 from three-point range. Still, going 2 for 3, definitely a very noteworthy task and certainly a good stat under your belt. Now, granted, there were 2 notables out there that were not suited up, Aaron Hunken-Clater and Gitas Nemicha, 2 returnees. And that's another thing. If you saw my last video, or not my last video, at least my last basketball-related video, Gitas Nemicha had a change of heart and returned to the University of Hawaii for a second season because of a waiver that was passed in January that allowed other certain players, an additional season. Marcus Green and Jerome Palm, 2 former Rainbow Warriors, they were 2 others who were in that waiver, and as a result, they got extra seasons, unfortunately not at UH. Palm transferred to Kansas, and Marcus Green transferred to Fordham along with Akira Jacobs, which was unfortunate for sure, especially since Akira led the team in three-point shots. And I thought that Akira would be the last person to transfer out of UH, especially with a bit of a Hawaii tie in him because his mom's originally from here. But things happen. So, like I said, back to this game, I would definitely give this game an A+. Granted, this was a game that UH should have won and did. Now, the next game is going to be against Chaminade. That's another exhibition game. I will be at that one in the stands. I kind of doubt I'll be at the media desk, like I said earlier. But, again, like I said, it's okay. I mean, at least I can say I tried. Just like with the team, if they lose to some of the perennial frontrunners, at least they tried. And they still made it a game, just like with Santa Barbara last season. And with these new players, I'm feeling really good about whether or not we can turn back some of the perennial frontrunners, let alone compete with them from start to finish. And I think that we can finally break this jinx with UC Santa Barbara. And the last time they beat them was 2022 at home in a come-from-behind win. And that was when we had a lot of horses on our team, like Kamaka Hepa and Amora Lotto, just to name a few. And they had a furious comeback against Northern Colorado, only to fall short by a point. So I'm thinking that with UH picked to finish third in conference play this season, I would definitely say between third and fifth. And hopefully they will back me up on this and finally shows that they got a rabid dog intensity and start getting a lot more wins and not kind of shy away from things like what happened against Riverside, and they got a little too tentative, and then Riverside made some really good three-point shots and then ended up sending UH home to losers. And then towards the end of the season, Cody Williams went down with an injury, and that was probably the one time where they really needed him. But still, to score 101 points over Pomona-Pitzer, getting back to this, is a big accomplishment. Certainly no easy task. And if they can do that, or at least win by 20 or 30 over Chaminade, like some cupcake games back in the day, like against Hilo, Life Pacific, or anybody else, then UH is going to be in for a good season, and I still think they will be. But obviously, only time will tell if UH came in and hit the portal hard. But from what I've seen so far, Gunnar and the coaching staff, they hit the portal very hard. And if it doesn't turn out to be a great season, I don't know what went wrong. But from what I could see, if other guys like Yassine Toomey and maybe Harry Rouhliadeff get better in the paint, we're going to have a good shot to at least get a top three and or win the Big West regular season. It won't be easy, but I think we can pull it off. So anyway, guys, that's all for today. And remember, subscribe, and I'll see you all for my recap against Chaminade on Sunday afternoon. So thanks, guys. Subscribe. I'll see you all again. Go Bows.